before mutual funds really became popular here. And there was a lot of talk about what do these young people want? What are they looking for? Now that I'm an old man, tell me, what is it? What are young people today looking for? What are they looking for out there?
Thank you all for having me. Young people these days are really looking for ways to build their wealth without being scared of the stock market. So there's a lot of confusion out there with the meme stocks these days. Young people I'm seeing are looking for practical and timely information on how they can invest their 9-to-5 income to build a passive income stream in investments these days.
So, Helen, what are you telling them to do? I mean, how many of you're on Instagram, very prevalent there. I'm looking at some of your posts, but you're obviously clearly taking responsibility here. You're not saying, hey, pile into the latest GameStop fervor, but what are you sort of advocating? Is it more about 401k, more about, whatever, well, we just saw what the likes of Peter Thiel has been doing with some sort of tax-free investing?
Absolutely. So I definitely take a lot of responsibility in my Instagram page. I know it's becoming a larger platform these days. I do want to say I really stray from saying I'm giving any kind of investment advice. I am not a finance professional. What I really hope to do is to share practical tips as I'm learning them and to share my personal story so others in similar backgrounds may act the same way that I am if they're looking for the same results or if they're looking for the same journey as me. What investments for millennials could really look like these days is low-cost index funds. So I actually tend to really ignore the GameStops, the AMCs out there, because if there's one way to get rich for sure, it's index funds. And if people are looking for a get rich quick, that is a sure way to actually lose their money. So low-cost index funds in accounts like a 401k or an IRA is my #1 piece of information if someone wanted to get started. That is what I would say.
Yeah, do you have an audience that is willing to hear and is okay to hear the old adage of it is time in the market instead of timing the market? Are they willing to hear that?
The more I say it, I think the more people are starting to believe it. I think one of the biggest parts of my platform is that I show people my results from investing. So I'll show people, listen, I put in these investments a year ago, 2 years ago. This is how it's looking now. And I believe people seeing the results makes them feel more confident to act. And also, I try not to tell people that they can't do something. So of course, people want to go out there and invest in GameStop. I say keep it to 10% of your portfolio. Likely that's gambling and not investing. So that's really what I try to stick to.
But it's hard, though, Helen, particularly for people of a certain age. They want to sort of swing for the fences, primarily because a lot of them are starting from such a low base. There's also been, I could just tell you, in certain minority communities, including in the black community, there's been sort of a real push here to push people further out onto that risk spectrum, particularly in an age where, you can't really make money off of what would generally be considered safer investments, i.e. treasuries, bonds, things like that may have been much more in vogue when I was a kid.
Absolutely. There's actually a great chapter in this in the book called Psychology of Money. Underserved communities and minority groups tend to believe in something like a lottery to get rich quick, right? And we believe, at least with myself included, we believe education and long-term wealth planning actually works out for the long term a lot better for groups like those, and especially in ethnic communities like mine myself. Learning how to plan long term is going to work out probably much more highly likely than investing in something like a GameStop or AMC. And it's hard to really swallow that, information like you've all alluded to, but in the long term, no one really regrets putting in money that gets them rich slowly and in a much more safer way to preserve their wealth.